Meanwhile, voters across the nation will decide who they want to see as the next president with the election so close. What would happen if there was a tie between Vice President Harris and former President Trump? Well, KQ2's Sam Rowe is here to break down what would happen if both candidates ended up with 269 electoral votes.
Well, there are 538 members of the Electoral College, and since that is an even number, there is a chance that there could be a tie in the presidential election. This map right here represents what a 269 to 269 tie would look like between Vice President Harris and former President Trump. If this were to happen, the election would go to the House of Representatives, and they would choose between the two candidates. I spoke to Missouri Western State University professor Edwin Taylor to talk about what exactly that process would look like.
How many are majority Democrats, how many are majority Republicans, and that's how you would figure it out. They would vote, and if there are more majority Republican delegations in the House than Democrats, the Republican candidate would win. Currently, if that were to happen, there's more Republican majority congressional delegations by state than Democratic ones. Okay. So, assuming all those Republicans voted for the Republican candidate, that's how it would turn out.
This is the map of the current House delegations. 26 are held by Republicans, 22 by Democrats, and 2 that are evenly split. While this is the current situation, it will be the House of Representatives that's elected in this election cycle that will make this decision if we did see a tied electoral college. It's worth mentioning that we saw a similar situation 200 years ago back in the election of 1824. That election went to the House of Representatives. Andrew Jackson won the most electoral votes, but did not receive a majority of the electoral votes, which is required. In that election, they chose runner-up John Quincy Adams over Jackson to be the next president. It's also worth mentioning that if we did see a tied electoral college, the Senate would be choosing the vice president, meaning that it would be theoretically possible to see Donald Trump serving with Tim Walz as his vice president, or Harris serving with J.D. Vance as her vice president. Of course, if there's one thing that we can all agree on, it's that we don't want to see a tied election on election night. I'll have all this coverage and more coming up right here on KQ2.